Colonial Park Cemetery. Colonial Park Cemetery is considered one of the most haunted locations in all of Savannah. Some of the local paranormal enthusiasts even go as far as calling Colonial Park Cemetery, Paranormal Central. Colonial Park Cemetery opened in 1750. It is the oldest burial ground in Savannah which can still be identified by your average tourist. There are a few burial grounds, which were used prior to 1750. They have all been covered up. One of the oldest, if not the oldest, is at the southwest corner of Wright Square. Within the 6 acres of ground which make up Colonial Park Cemetery, there are over 10,000 people buried. However, there are not even 1,000 grave markers. Many people were buried in mass graves. Others had their grave marker knocked over or destroyed. Many people believe this willful desecration of burial grounds helps to fuel the haunted activity, which is attributed to Colonial Park Cemetery. The Mercer Williams House. One of the most mysterious homes here in Savannah, Georgia is the Mercer Williams House. The Mercer Williams House is reportedly haunted by many of the people who were affected by the tragedies which have occurred at the house over the years. The most famous ghost seen in this haunted Savannah home is the ghost of Jim Williams. Jim Williams are the eccentric antique dealer who is also the main character in the famous book, Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil. Jim Williams spent a number of years inside of the house. Many of Savannah's best parties were held inside of the Mercer Williams house. Today, the house is a museum for people who want to take a tour of this famous haunted house. Staff who work inside of the house after hours have reported seeing the ghost of Jim Williams walking the halls of the house. Ghosts at the Pirates House. On the east side of Savannah's historic district sits one of the oldest, and reportedly most haunted, buildings in Savannah. This building houses the Pirates House restaurant. For many years ghost stories have been told around Savannah regarding all of the hauntings which take place at the Pirates House restaurant. The building which houses the Pirates House is over 250 years old. This lends to a lot of history and a lot of leftover ghostly energy. The Oldie Pink House Restaurant. The Pink House Restaurant, which is the Habersham House on Reynolds Square, is home to some of Savannah's most mischievous ghosts. On our Grave Tales of Savannah Ghost Tour, we will take you to the Oldie Pink House and tell you the stories of the Habersham family, for whom the house was built. We will also tell you some of the spine-tingling stories about the ghosts and hauntings which occur at the Pink House. Perhaps the most famous ghost at the Pink House is the ghost of James Habersham Jr. Mr. Habersham had the house constructed in 1789. His family earned their wealth through cotton and rice farming. Patrons of the bar in the bottom level of the Pink House have reported seeing James Habersham hanging out taking in the scene. As fanciful as it may seem, other guests have had conversations with someone dressed in a style that would have been common in Mr. Habersham's time. They would believe it is a reenactor, until their eyes leave him for a second and their partner in conversation disappears without a trace. The Ghosts of 432 Abercorn. Perhaps the most controversial haunted home in all of Savannah is the house that sits at 432 Abercorn Street. If you ask guides who work at certain companies, they will tell you that it is the most haunted house. With murders, vortexes, stories of people gone missing in the house and more. Despite many of the dubious claims and stories which are completely made up, this house does seem to harbor some dark energy. Many guests on our ghost tours, and the ghost tours of other companies, have captured weird abnormalities in photographs outside of the house. A true story about the house at 432 Abercorn Street is that it was built on top of, or right beside a slave cemetery, which was originally in Calhoun Square. It is very possible, based on the timelines, that bodies were removed from the area this house was built upon. That in itself can create some very negative energy and contribute to hauntings.